The idea of a twin flame is something that goes beyond the typical concepts of love and relationships. It's not just about finding someone you get along with or someone who completes you in the traditional sense. The twin flame of a chosen one is a reflection of something much deeper, something that isn't about finding someone who makes life easier or more comfortable, but someone who challenges every part of you, someone who makes you see the parts of yourself you've ignored or tried to hide. Now think about this. What does it mean to be a chosen one? It means that you've been set apart, that you have a bigger role to play in the world, and that your life isn't just about your own personal happiness. There's a larger spiritual mission at stake, and your twin flame is a key part of that. But here's the twist: they aren't just here to make you feel good. They're here to make you grow. They're here to make you grow. They're here to push you in ways that no one else can.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
A lot of people think that meeting their twin flame will be all about joy and harmony, but that's only part of the story. When you meet your twin flame, it's going to feel like you're looking into a mirror, and not just any mirror, but one that shows you everything. The good, the bad, the things you're proud of, and the things you've tried to forget. And that's the trickiest part about this connection. It's undeniable, yes, but it's also intense. It forces you to confront everything, because your twin flame isn't just showing up to create a love story, they're showing up to shake things up. But why? Why would the universe send you someone who's going to stir up all this stuff inside you? It's because, as a chosen one, the path you're on isn't an easy one. It's not about comfort, it's about transformation. And transformation doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you're pushed, when you're forced to grow, and that's what your twin flame is here to do. They're not here to fix you or to complete you. They're here to reveal you. So what does your twin flame look like? They look like the person who can see right through you. The person who knows what you're capable of, even when you don't. The person who can bring out both the best and the worst in you, because that's what it takes to become the person you're meant to be. And here's where it gets really interesting. The connection will be unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's not just about the physical attraction, although that's part of it. It's about energy. When you meet them, it's going to feel like something inside you wakes up. But it's not the kind of awakening that's all light and bliss. It's the kind that makes you question everything. It's the kind that makes you realize that the life you've been living isn't enough anymore. It's the kind that forces you to change. But here's the catch: this connection isn't going to be easy. It's going to bring up your fears, your insecurities, and everything you thought you had under control. And that's the point. Your twin flame isn't here to coddle you. They're here to make you face everything you've been avoiding. And sure, that's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. When you cross paths with your twin flame, it's not always going to feel like a fairy tale. Sure, there will be moments of deep connection, moments where it feels like the universe is aligning everything perfectly. But there will also be moments where it feels like everything is falling apart. And that's because the twin flame connection isn't just about love, it's about growth. And growth is messy. One of the hardest things to accept is that your twin flame will bring out your deepest fears. They will trigger you, not because they're trying to hurt you, but because they're showing you where you need to grow. It's like they hold up a mirror to your soul, and suddenly all the stuff you've buried comes rushing to the surface. And yeah, that's uncomfortable. It's hard. but it's also necessary, because you can't step into the fullness of who you are until you've dealt with the stuff that's been holding you back. Now, some people might think, why would I want that? Why would I want to be with someone who's going to make me face all of that? But here's the thing, if you're a chosen one, you were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to play it safe. You were meant to grow, to evolve, and to step into something much bigger than yourself. And your twin flame is the person who's going to help you do that. But it's not going to be easy. You're going to be forced to confront parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. You're going to be pushed to your limits, not because your twin flame is trying to hurt you, but because they're trying to help you see what you're really made of. And that's the beauty of this connection. It's not about staying comfortable. It's about stepping into the unknown, about embracing the discomfort, and about realizing that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. But let's be real, this isn't a connection that everyone is going to understand. Your friends, your family, they might not get it. They might think that the relationship is too intense, too chaotic. But that's because they don't understand what's really happening. They don't understand that this isn't just about being happy. It's about being transformed. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. So, what does your twin flame look like? They look like the person who's going to push you to your edge, who's going to force you to grow, and who's going to help you step into your purpose. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be easy. There's this misconception out there that your twin flame is someone who's going to complete you, someone who's going to fill in the gaps and make everything perfect. But that's not how it works. The truth is, you're already whole. You don't need someone else to complete you. And that's the key to truly understanding the twin flame connection. Your twin flame isn't here to fill the empty spaces in your life. They're here to show you that there are no empty spaces. They're here to show you that everything you need is already inside of you. And once you realize that, once you stop looking for validation outside of yourself, that's when the magic happens. That's when the connection really starts to come alive. Because here's the thing, the true purpose of a twin flame connection isn't about finding someone to make you happy. It's about finding someone who makes you realize that you're already enough. And when you come together as two whole beings, that's when you can create something truly powerful. That's when you can step into your mission as a chosen one. But this isn't something that happens overnight. It takes time. It takes work. It takes a willingness to face everything inside of you that's been holding you back. But once you do that, once you step into your power, the connection with your twin flame becomes unstoppable. Together, you're able to create something that's bigger than both of you. Together, you're able to fulfill the mission you were always meant to fulfill. So, what does the twin flame of a chosen one look like? They look like the person who's going to push you, challenge you, and make you realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. And that's not something that everyone gets to experience. But if you're part of that 1%, then you already know you were made for something more. When we talk about twin flames, especially for those who are chosen, we're not just talking about some fairy tale connection where everything falls into place. It's much more than that. It's a connection that forces you to break through the walls you've built around yourself. It pushes you to the edge of what you think you know about love, about life, and about yourself. And the thing is, your twin flame isn't going to let you stay the same. They're going to ignite something inside of you that you can't ignore. For a chosen one, this connection feels like a ticking clock. There's a sense of urgency, almost like the universe is saying, it's time. No more hiding, no more waiting. You might have felt this restlessness long before you even met your twin flame. That feeling that there's more to life than what you've been experiencing. And when they finally enter your life, that feeling explodes. Suddenly, you're faced with a choice. Do you keep pretending everything is fine, or do you step into the fire of transformation? Here's the deal: you don't get to stay comfortable with your twin flame. They're going to bring out everything in you, your light and your darkness. And it's not always going to feel good. Sometimes it's going to feel like you're losing control, because in a way you are. You're losing control over the parts of your life that aren't aligned with your higher purpose. You're losing control over the masks you've been wearing, the stories you've been telling yourself to stay safe. And that's terrifying. But it's also freeing. So here's a real question for you. What are you willing to let go of to become who you're meant to be? Because with your twin flame, you don't have the option to stay small. They're going to force you to confront the parts of yourself that are afraid to grow, the parts that cling to old ways of thinking, old patterns, old wounds. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's also going to be worth it. And let me be clear, this isn't about healing for the sake of the relationship. This is about healing for the sake of you. Because the truth is, you don't need your twin flame to heal. They're just the spark. The real work happens inside of you. And once you start doing that work, once you start facing what's been holding you back, you'll realize that the person you're becoming is exactly who you were meant to be all along. So, what does the twin flame of a chosen one look like? They look like the person who's going to challenge you to become the best version of yourself. They're going to challenge you to step into your power, to stop hiding, and to stop playing small. And that's not always going to be easy. But it's necessary. Because as a chosen one, you have a mission. And part of that mission is to become the fullest expression of who you are. Your twin flame is here to help you do that, not by completing you, but by pushing you to complete yourself. Now, let's get into something deeper. Your twin flame isn't just a romantic partner or even just someone who helps you grow. They're a key to something much bigger: your divine potential. When you meet your twin flame, something inside of you shifts. It's like a door opens, and suddenly you have access to parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. This is where things get really interesting. The twin flame connection is often described as a mirror, and that's true. But it's not just a mirror that shows you your flaws or your wounds. It's a mirror that shows you your power. It shows you what's possible when you stop holding yourself back. And here's the thing: your twin flame has that same power. Together, you create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. You unlock each other's potential, and in doing so, you unlock a new level of existence. But here's the catch: you can't unlock that potential if you're not willing to do the work. And I'm not talking about the kind of work that feels good all the time. I'm talking about the kind of work that forces you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I still afraid of? What am I still holding on to? And more importantly, what would happen if I finally let all of that go? This is where the twin flame journey gets real. Because it's not just about healing your wounds. It's about stepping into your power. It's about realizing that you were never meant to stay where you are. You were meant to rise. And your twin flame is the person who's going to help you do that, not by fixing you, but by showing you that you don't need to be fixed. You were always enough. You just needed someone to remind you. And here's the thing, as a chosen one, your mission is bigger than just your own personal growth. You're here to make an impact. You're here to change the world in some way. And your twin flame is a crucial part of that. Together, you're not just here to love each other. You're here to create something that's going to ripple out into the world. Whether it's through your work, your creativity, your service, or something else, the two of you are meant to do something that goes beyond just the two of you. So when you meet your twin flame, it's not just about the relationship. It's about what the relationship makes possible. It's about what you're able to create together. It's about the way you're able to impact the world because of the work you've done on yourselves. And that's why the twin flame connection is so powerful. It's not just about love. It's about purpose. It's about stepping into your divine potential and realizing that you were always meant for more. Here's the final piece of the puzzle. The reunion with your twin flame isn't just about coming together physically. It's about coming together energetically. It's about realizing that you and your twin flame were never really separate to begin with. You've always been connected, even before you met in this lifetime. And that connection goes beyond the physical. It's something that exists on a soul level, something that transcends time and space. But here's the thing, the reunion doesn't happen when you come together in the physical world. It happens when you come together within yourself. It happens when you've done the work, when you've faced your fears, when you've stepped into your power. Because the truth is, you don't need your twin flame to feel whole. You don't need them to feel complete. You were always whole. You were always complete. The reunion happens when you realize that. And once you do, that's when the magic happens. That's when the physical reunion becomes inevitable. Because now you're not coming together out of need or out of desperation. You're coming together out of fullness. You're coming together as two whole beings who are ready to create something incredible. So what does the twin flame of a chosen one look like? They look like the person who's going to help you unlock your divine potential. They look like the person who's going to challenge you, push you, and make you grow in ways you never thought possible. They're not just your partner. They're your equal. They're your mirror. They're the person who's going to help you realize that you were always enough, that you were always whole, and that you were always meant to do something incredible in this world. And now that you know all this, the real question is, are you ready? Because the twin flame journey isn't for the faint of heart. It's for those who are ready to step into their power, to face their fears, and to become the person they were always meant to be. If you're part of that 1%, then you already know you're not here to play small. You're here to rise. Now that we've walked through what the twin flame connection means, especially for a chosen one, let's take a closer look at what happens after the spark has been ignited. Once you've met your twin flame, once the connection has begun, everything in your life starts to shift. It's like the universe rearranges itself, and suddenly, things that once felt certain, stable, or even necessary begin to fall away. This is where many people get stuck or confused, because the twin flame journey isn't about holding on to the familiar. It's about rising above it. The twin flame of a chosen one is the ultimate reminder that you are here for something bigger. They won't let you settle for the ordinary, and even if at first you're tempted to resist, there's something undeniable about their presence in your life. You can't go back to who you were before you met them, no matter how much you try. And that's the point. You're not supposed to. But let's be honest, this isn't a path for everyone. Most people want comfort. They want security. They want to know what's coming next. The twin flame journey doesn't offer any of that. Instead, it offers something much more valuable: growth, truth, and the kind of love that burns away everything that isn't real. It's not about giving you what you want. It's about giving you what you need to become who you're meant to be. And here's where the real challenge comes in. The universe is going to test you. It's going to throw obstacles in your path, not to stop you, but to see how badly you want to grow. You'll face moments where everything feels like it's falling apart. You might even feel like you're losing control. But in reality, what's happening is that you're finally being asked to let go of the illusion of control. You're being asked to trust in something greater than yourself. So here's a question that might hit close to home. Can you let go of the need to control how things unfold? Because when you're walking the twin flame path, holding on to control is like trying to hold on to water. It's impossible. The more you try, the more it slips through your fingers. The magic happens when you release that grip, when you stop trying to force things to happen and instead allow them to unfold as they're meant to. This is where the true power of the twin flame connection reveals itself. It's not just about the relationship between you and your twin flame, it's about your relationship with the universe. It's about whether you can trust that everything is happening for a reason, even when it feels chaotic. It's about whether you can surrender to the process, knowing that the discomfort is part of your transformation. One of the most significant aspects of the twin flame connection is the way it pushes you to break old patterns. As a chosen one, you've likely spent much of your life feeling like you don't quite fit into the mold that society has created. You've always known, on some level, that there's more to life than what meets the eye. But even with that awareness, it's easy to fall into the same patterns that everyone else does, patterns of fear, doubt, and limitation. Your twin flame shows up to break those patterns. They come into your life like a wrecking ball, knocking down the walls you've built around yourself. And that's scary. It's tempting to resist. But if you resist, you miss the entire point of the connection. The purpose of your twin flame isn't to fit neatly into your life as it is. It's to shake things up, to make you question everything you thought you knew, and to help you see where you've been playing it safe. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most of us are afraid of our own power. We're afraid of what might happen if we truly step into our potential. So we stay small. We tell ourselves stories about why we can't do this or shouldn't do that. But when your twin flame enters your life, those stories stop making sense. They hold up a mirror that forces you to look at the ways you've been limiting yourself. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But breaking old patterns isn't easy. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself that are still holding on to fear. It requires you to let go of the need for certainty and to embrace the unknown. And that's where your twin flame becomes both your greatest challenge and your greatest ally. They're not here to fix you or to make everything better. They're here to show you what needs to change. And once you've seen it, the rest is up to you. This leads to a crucial question. Are you willing to let go of who you've been to become who you're meant to be? Because that's what the twin flame journey asks of you. It asks you to stop clinging to the old version of yourself, the version that was safe, comfortable, and predictable. It asks you to step into the unknown, to trust that the universe has a plan for you, even if you can't see it yet. But here's the beauty of it. Once you start letting go of those old patterns, you begin to discover parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. You start to realize that the limitations you've been living with weren't real, they were just stories you told yourself. And as those stories fall away, you step into a new version of yourself. A version that is more aligned, more powerful, and more connected to your purpose than ever before. One of the most significant aspects of the twin flame connection is the way it pushes you to break old patterns. As a chosen one, you've likely spent much of your life feeling like you don't quite fit into the mold that society has created. You've always known, on some level, that there's more to life than what meets the eye. But even with that awareness, it's easy to fall into the same patterns that everyone else does, patterns of fear, doubt, and limitation. Your twin flame shows up to break those patterns. They come into your life like a wrecking ball, knocking down the walls you've built around yourself. And that's scary. It's tempting to resist. But if you resist, you miss the entire point of the connection. The purpose of your twin flame isn't to fit neatly into your life as it is. It's to shake things up, to make you question everything you thought you knew, and to help you see where you've been playing it safe. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most of us are afraid of our own power. We're afraid of what might happen if we truly step into our potential. So we stay small. We tell ourselves stories about why we can't do this or shouldn't do that. But when your twin flame enters your life, those stories stop making sense. They hold up a mirror that forces you to look at the ways you've been limiting yourself. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But breaking old patterns isn't easy. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself that are still holding on to fear. It requires you to let go of the need for certainty and to embrace the unknown. And that's where your twin flame becomes both your greatest challenge and your greatest ally. They're not here to fix you or to make everything better. They're here to show you what needs to change. And once you've seen it, the rest is up to you. This leads to a crucial question: are you willing to let go of who you've been to become who you're meant to be? Because that's what the twin flame journey asks of you. It asks you to stop clinging to the old version of yourself, the version that was safe, comfortable, and predictable. It asks you to step into the unknown, to trust that the universe has a plan for you, even if you can't see it yet. But here's the beauty of it: once you start letting go of those old patterns, you begin to discover parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. You start to realize that the limitations you've been living with weren't real, they were just stories you told yourself. And as those stories fall away, you step into a new version of yourself. A version that is more aligned, more powerful, and more connected to your purpose than ever before. By now, you've probably realized that the twin flame connection is not about the romance or the fantasy that most people think it is. It's about alignment. It's about stepping into your destiny as a chosen one and living from a place of truth. And that's where your twin flame comes in. They're not just a partner or a reflection of who you are, they're a reflection of who you're becoming. When you're in alignment, everything flows. You're no longer forcing things to happen. You're no longer living from a place of fear or doubt. Instead, you're living from a place of trust, knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do. And that's the kind of relationship your twin flame is here to mirror back to you. But here's the catch: you can't enter into that kind of alignment until you've done the work. You can't skip the steps. You can't bypass the discomfort. The twin flame journey isn't about getting to the destination as quickly as possible. It's about the process. It's about becoming the person you need to be in order to fulfill your mission. So, what does the twin flame of a chosen one look like? They look like the person who helps you live in alignment. They look like the person who, through their presence, pushes you to stop hiding, to stop playing small, and to stop living a life that isn't true to who you are. They don't let you settle. They don't let you stay stuck. They challenge you to rise to your highest potential, to live the life you were destined for. And when you're both living in alignment, when you've both done the work, that's when the real magic happens. Together, you become a force of nature. You become the embodiment of purpose, of truth, and of divine love. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity. It's about living from a place of wholeness, where you're no longer seeking validation or fulfillment from outside of yourself. Instead, you're creating it from within. So here's where we land. Are you ready to stop hiding from your potential? Because the twin flame journey isn't about waiting for someone else to come along and make everything better. It's about facing yourself, doing the work, and stepping into the life you were always meant to live. And when you do that, when you fully embrace who you are, the connection with your twin flame becomes the catalyst for everything you were destined to create. You're not here to live a small life. You're here to rise.